Hey guys, my name is Megan Tunerman. I'm a sophomore sociology and environmental studies double major at the college. I am a member of our cross country and track and field team, and I'm also the arts and entertainment editor for our student run newspaper, The Voice. And today I am coming to you from in front of the Calc Arch, of course. And I'm here with Professor Dean Fraga. He is the Danforth Professor of Biology, and at the moment he is actually in New Zealand. He specializes in molecular evolution, teaching classes in cell biology, molecular biology, and genetics, and he's been at Wooster for 26 years. So with your grant expertise of Wooster, what areas of focus have you seen students in the biology department really pursue?
It's been all over the board, really, because there are lots of opportunities here. Even though we're small, we do have a quite extensive collection of life science faculty. So students can do things ranging from environmental studies like you. They can get involved in conservation biology, for example, or they can do physiology with Dr. Lynn or Dr. Brandley and study how animals or how life functions physiologically. Or they can come all the way over to the molecular side, the tiny side where I'm at, and work on molecular biology, genetics, and biochemistry. So we have the whole gamut in between there. Students can do coursework, which is obvious since we're a university, but they can also do research in the sense that we have lots of research opportunities for students. They run from grants, in which we get grants and then we can hire students to work with us during the academic year in the summer. We also have a program called Sophomore Research, which is an amazing program in which students from the spring of their first year to the fall of their junior year are considered sophomores for this research program, in which they can work with faculty again during the academic year and in the summer. And that's an amazing opportunity that students should not miss if they can get involved in it. In addition, many of our courses are what I would call course-embedded research courses. And I'll tell you a little bit later about one course that is one of my favorites. But in those courses, students get hands-on experience, which is kind of like research. It's not exactly like research, but it does develop some of the same skills.
So those opportunities that you mentioned sound really great, but I am not a biology major, but I still really love animals. What if there are people like me that want to be a bio minor or something like that? How many of these opportunities are available to them as well?
Let me tell you a little bit about the opportunities for life science students in general. So they can run from being a minor in any of the subdisciplines of biology to being a major in biology, biochemistry and molecular biology, environmental sciences, neuroscience, and I think I got all of them. I think that's all of them. Or you can even do a self-design major. I've had students who have combined their study of classics with biology, and the specific thing that they're looking at is, were the ancient medicines that we can see in these ancient texts, were they actually effective? And so I have a student a couple of years ago who worked on that, and I have one this year. That's actually her sister who's working on the same sort of type project.
Worcester's a place of legacies.
Yeah, there you go. Good point.
So what was your favorite class that you've taught and why?
Well, my favorite class by far is a class that it features course-embedded research, and it's called Biochemistry and Molecular Biology 303, Techniques in Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. The reason I like that course is I think it embodies a lot about what I like about Wooster, which is about the doing. And this course has a course-embedded research component, which means that it literally reflects that synergism between research and education that I think Wooster embodies so well. For example, in the summer, I may be working with students on sophomore research, and our research project will go so far, and then the summer's over, and then it's done. But the research question is still hanging. And sometimes that research question is such that we can sort of adapt it to be used in a class. And what we'll oftentimes do is kind of repackage that question, and then use it in this course called Biochemistry, Techniques in Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, or we call it PCMB 303. And we can use that question then to drive the education in that class. For example, the students will then pick up that question and try to come up with a way to answer it through experimental design, and then they'll do stuff in the lab. Ultimately, that course gets to some endpoint in which we've maybe answered part of the question, or if we're lucky, all of the question. And then that will then serve as a springboard for next year's summer research. So you see that kind of flipping back and forth between what you do in the classroom and then what you do actually in the research lab.
That is fantastic and very Wooster. So
yeah, it's a great course, and I see that we have we don't toot our horn enough about it because we've been doing it for ages, almost since the time I got here, but we don't get a lot of credit for it because we've been doing it for so long, and then I see people talk about, oh, we're starting this new thing. Well, we've been doing it for 20 years, so it's not so new.
How often do students end up partaking in both parts of it, in the classroom and then also over the summer?
Quite often, actually. And in fact, what happens sometimes is that students will be in the class, for example, and they'll say, that's really cool. Can I keep working on this? And we'll say, sure. We'll find an opportunity for them to do the research. What actually more likely happens is the student will then do it for their IS project. In fact, I have a student, I'm not actually, since I'm on leave right now, that's why I'm in New Zealand, there was a student in my BCMB 303 class who liked it so much that they wanted to do it for their IS research. And in fact, now they're working with Dr. Mark Schneider, and they're completing their IS project on the project that they essentially started in BCMB 303.
Yeah. All right. So what is the most memorable moment that you have had in your time at Wooster?
I've had several, but probably one of the most bizarre ones, or one of the more entertaining ones, if you will, or reflects the nature of the biology department, was early in my career. One of our senior professors, Dr. Floyd Downs, was retiring, and he was a delightful guy. He was a true natural historian. He went out into the wild, and he would characterize the animals. He would do a lot of those books, the field guides that you see, and he actually had written several of them. So he really knew the outdoors, and he really knew the critters that were out there. And he was quite a nice person. Everybody liked him. But he was going to retire, and he was one of his last courses. So I roped another colleague of mine who was also junior, Dr. Bill Morgan, and we devised to interrupt his last class. He was teaching introductory biology at the time. And what we did is we had a skeleton. We have this plastic skeleton that we use in our anatomy classes. And we brought that in, and we told the students that, well, this renowned professor here, Dr. Floyd Downs, is going to retire, which means he won't be able to teach anymore, but he will still continue to contribute to the department. As you see here, we have another previous retiree who continues to contribute to the department, and Floyd Downs will step into a similar role. Students laughed.
I'm sure that is a class that they remembered as well.
Yeah, I remember that. We came in and we're kind of pretending to be these old, professors, and we were going to measure them and do all that stuff. So it was quite fun. Students loved it.
That's amazing. Well,
he didn't know we were going to do it, though.
What was his reaction?
He laughed. We didn't take up too much of his time because being the true professor that he was, he wanted to probably finish what he was going to cover. So we were mindful of that. We were respectful of that because he was our senior, and we didn't want to run afoul of him. But he took it all in stride, and he was a great guy about it.
That's great. All right. Well, I won't take up too much of your time. I'll let you get back to beautiful and sunny New Zealand. But thank you so much for your time, and see you next time.
Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye.